2025 is a lot closer than most of you might realize, and of course with the end of every year comes a handful of LEGO Star Wars sets that will be retiring. Now I made a video of this in the beginning of the year back in January, although since then this list has actually changed quite a bit because some sets have actually been pushed back to 2025. So that's why I'm making this video today, to give you guys an updated and what should be the final list of LEGO Star Wars sets retiring in 2024. And if you're confused when I say 2024, they are literally retiring on the last day. They should be available until December 31st of this year. Anyways though, before we hop into it, I of course want to quickly go over the sets that got pushed back to 2025. The first one surprisingly being 75304 Darth Vader helmet from 2021. This set has already been on shelves for quite a while and it looks like it'll be here for an extra year. 75333 Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter from 2022. This one is extremely popular, so it makes sense as to why they're pushing it back. 75345 501st Clone Troopers Battle Pack from 2023, 75347 TIE Bomber from 2023, 75354 Coruscant Guard Gunship from 2023. As you guys know, this is a pretty controversial set. There's a lot of people that hate it and a lot of people that really love it, but I guess LEGO thinks it's popular enough to be pushed back to 2025. Then one of my favorite sets of all time being 75356 Executor Super Star Destroyer. I love this set and I am very happy to see that it will be on shelves for one more year. And then lastly, another set I also really like being 75357 Ghost and Phantom 2. Like the Executor, this is also one that I am very pleased to see staying on shelves. Anyways though, those 7 sets will be available at least until 2025, so if you have not got your hands on them yet, you still have at least a year. But now getting into the sets that are actually retiring at the end of this year on December 31st of 2024, there are a total of 23 sets that will be going off shelves in a few months. First one being one that has had a very long lifespan, being 75257 Millennium Falcon from 2019. This set has already been on shelves for almost 5 years because it is insanely popular, and I imagine that most of you guys probably already have this, but if you don't, I would recommend it because it is considered by most people to be the best playset Millennium Falcon that LEGO has made. Even though it's technically based off of episode 9, it's still a very good build. Next up, we have probably the best MBS set ever made, and a set that I still really need to get my hands on, being 75290 Mos Eisley Cantina from 2020. I mean, I don't really think I have to say too much here. Everyone considers this to be a pretty incredible set. It's got an amazing build with a whole slew of unique minifigures, and it's actually so far the last Master Builder Series set that LEGO has made, so it does make sense as to why it's retiring in 2024, because in 2025 we're rumored to be getting a Master Builder Series Ewok Village in October. I don't know how valid this is, but it is a rumor that's going around, so it makes sense that this is the one that is retiring. Anyways though, next up we have a set that I really think should have retired in 2023 actually, being 75308 R2-D2, and this is a great set, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people really enjoy it, but there is currently a better and cheaper buildable R2-D2 on shelves right now that just released back in March of this year, and that's why I think this one should have retired in December of 2023, because these two sets have been on shelf together all year when they're literally the same. But still, if you don't have the set yet and you really want it, it is retiring in December of this year. Next up, we have another fan favorite and arguably the best UCS set of all time, being 75313 AT-AT Walker. This one has been on shelves since 2021, and again, a lot of people consider this to actually be the best UCS set ever made because it is minifigure scale and has a full interior, etc. And for some reason, it's retiring in 2024, which I actually consider to be a bit early. I think this set is popular enough to kind of get the Millennium Falcon treatment. I think it should be on shelves for at least 5 years because so many people enjoy this thing, but I guess LEGO thinks otherwise, and after roughly 3 years of shelf life, this set is retiring. And then going from a UCS set that everyone loves to a UCS set that nobody cares about, also retiring at the end of this year, is 75341 Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder. I never even got this set because I don't really care for it. I think it's ridiculous that this was ever even turned into a UCS set, but at the same time, a lot of people enjoy it. It just comes down to your opinion. But anyways, if you for some reason want this, it is retiring in December, so go get your hands on it, I guess. Next up, we have a Microfighter, being the Slave 1 from 2023, and I'm not usually too crazy over Microfighters, but I actually think this one is pretty cool, especially the build. The Boba Fett isn't anything crazy, he is exclusive, but I mean, it's not the best Boba Fett we've ever gotten. But like I said, I do think the build is actually pretty good looking, especially at this kind of scrunched down Microfighter scale. Then next up, we have a very underrated set in my opinion, being 75346 Pirate Snub Fighter from 2023. A lot of people overlook this set because it was kind of just a one-off from Mandalorian Season 3, but I actually think it's kind of cool. The ship has a really sleek and fast looking design that has great switchability and is fun to play with, and it has 2 pretty cool pirate minifigures as well. So if you don't have this set, I would personally recommend it. A lot of other people probably wouldn't, so if you want to get it, it is retiring in December of this year. Then next up we have another set from Mandalorian Season 3 that is significantly more popular than the Stubbs Fighter, being 75348 Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor. This set is incredible. It's one of the best 2-in-1 versus set that LEGO has made, and it's also so far the second playscale TIE Interceptor that LEGO has made. The first one came out in 2006, and then 17 years later we got this one, so if you don't have it, I would recommend it. The TIE Interceptor is a great build. I personally think the Fang Fighter is also a pretty cool build. A lot of people hate on it because it's pretty bland, but I think it's interesting and I personally kind of like it. Then next up we have a pair of helmet sets, being 75350 Clone Commander Cody helmet and 75351 Princess Leia Boushh helmet. And out of these two, I would easily recommend Commander Cody. It's one of the best helmets they've made so far. They actually did do a really good job on it. I personally think it's actually even better than Captain Rex. So if you don't have your hands on it yet, it is retiring at the end of this year, and I would strongly recommend it. And then also, like I said, the Princess Leia helmet is also retiring if you want to get it too. Next up is arguably the best diorama LEGO has made so far, being 75352 Emperor's Throne Room diorama. And this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Like most dioramas, it is overpriced, but I'd say that this one is actually like not as overpriced as the others, which is nice, although I still think you should maybe wait until you can find it on sale. But regardless, it's an incredible diorama. I would recommend this to anyone. It's a very fun build, it's very unique, and a great display piece. And then next up we have another diorama, being 75353 Indoor Speeder Chase diorama. This one was released alongside the Emperor's Throne Room, and this set is great. It's a bit smaller than the Throne Room and also $20 less. The 3 minifigures included are very unique and very detailed, and the speeder bikes are super high quality and some of the best speeders that LEGO has ever made. And while I do think this set is great, if I had to recommend one of the two to you, I would probably go with the Throne Room. Next up is a 4+ set that nobody cares about, being 75358 Tenu Jedi Temple. I don't have much to say here, but people certainly care about 75359 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack, which is also retiring. There's been a lot of controversy around this battle pack that I'm not going to dive into, but it is insanely popular, and I imagine a lot of people are going to be trying to buy bulk of this to build armies before it's gone. So if you don't have it yet, or if you want more of them, it is retiring at the end of this year. Then next up is 75360 Yoda's Jedi Starfighter from 2023. This is definitely a cool little set. It's not insanely popular just because nobody really wanted this to be remade. Although if you're interested and you want Yoda, I mean, I have to say it's a pretty good build. It's fairly accurate, although I probably would wait until it goes on sale if you want to get it before it retires. Next up, we have a pretty bizarre set that a lot of people most likely forgot about, being 75361 Spider Tank. And honestly, I do personally think the build is pretty cool and pretty unique for your Star Wars collection. However, the main aspect of this set is definitely that arm-printed Bo-Katan. So if you want to get your hands on that figure through this set, it is retiring this year. Or if you want to buy it individually off Bricklink, you might want to do that before December 2, because the price of that figure will most likely go up after this set retires. And continuing on with Mandalorian sets, next up is 75363, the Mandalorian N1 Starfighter Microfighter. And honestly, for me at least, this is just a set to forget about. It's nothing too crazy. If you don't have a Mandalorian figure, you might want to pick up this set just because it's currently the cheapest one he's in. However, besides that, there's really no reason to get this in my opinion. Next up is arguably the best versus set LEGO has made so far, being 75364 New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hades Starfighter. And I personally think both of the Starfighters in this set are just absolutely gorgeous. I love the bright colors on them, especially the yellow and red on Shin Hades Starfighter. They're both very unique, and they would definitely add a good splash of color to a mainly gray lineup of Star Wars sets in most people's collections. So if you want to get your hands on this set, it is retiring, and I personally would recommend it because I think both the Starfighters are very good. Next up is 75365 Yavin 4 Revel Base, and I'm going to be completely honest, I think this set might get too much hate. It is extremely overpriced, so if you want to get it before the year ends, I would recommend waiting until it goes on sale, or at least trying to find it on sale. But its minifigure lineup surprisingly does have a lot of depth with a lot of good figures, and the temple itself is actually a great display piece if you want something cool to display. But again, if you're going to get it before it retires, I would recommend to wait until it goes on sale. Then next up, we have the 3 mechs that released at the end of 2023, being 75368 Darth Vader mech, 75369 Boba Fett mech, and 75370 Stormtrooper mech. And for me at least, I do think these mechs look kind of cool, although I know for most people they're kind of just take it or leave it. But if you want to get your hands on them, they are retiring at the end of this year, and I'd personally say Boba Fett is probably the best one. Then lastly, we have one of the most clowned sets of all time, being 75371 Chewbacca. And yes, the face on this set does look very goofy. goofy and is definitely reasonable to make fun of. However, the rest of the set is actually surprisingly really well made. The fur is actually phenomenal and the bowcaster is super detailed. So besides the face, everything looks great. This set, however, is definitely not for everyone. The build is extremely tedious and time consuming and would probably not be fun for most people. But I mean, if you want to get your hands on it, it is retiring at the end of this year. And if you happen to have both the R2-D2 that were released in March as well as the C-3PO that just released in August, this Chewbacca is to scale with them and they do make a good looking trio. So if that's the case, I would actually recommend this to you. But besides that, like I said, this set is great. However, it's definitely not for everyone. Anyways, guys, that is every set that is retiring at the end of this year, 2024. This should be the final list. If it does happen to change again, I don't think it will because it's already September. But if it does happen to change again, I will make a third update video. So let me know what sets you guys are trying to get before they retire. If you're new, please consider subscribing. And if you want to check out more of my videos, he's only on screen right now.